Well, thank you, and welcome to Washington. We need your voices here. Here in the Kennedy Caucus Room, which is the room that you're in, some of the greatest hearings and movements in our country evolved. And I'm thrilled that you are here to be advocates and fight alongside with us for safe, affordable, decent housing in our country as a right to each and every American, regardless of the happenstance. It's good to see so many advocates, residents, organizers, housing providers, and friends here today. I certainly want to recognize people like Stacey Berger and Arnold Cohen from the network who have worked so hard. And Richard Brown and Kate Carley from Monarch Housing, and so many others who do incredible work for our people in New Jersey. And I'm proud to stand with you in the fight to protect and expand access to safe and affordable housing. Because we've got to remember that the fight for affordable housing is only half the battle. We are fighting for housing that is safe, healthy, and affordable, because no family should be forced to live in unsafe conditions simply because of how much money they make. And as we have to do better. Consider that back home in New Jersey, more than 3,000 children are diagnosed with lead poisoning due to exposure to lead-based paint or other sources every single year. 3,000 children. There is no safe level of lead in a child. The consequence of exposure, especially for young children, can be a lifelong reality, including damage to the brain and nervous system, developmental delays, behavioral challenges, and more. It's heartbreaking to think that children suffering from lead poisoning are more often than not the same children who already struggle with poverty and who already have so many cards stacked against them in this economy. We have a moral obligation to give all of our children a fair shot at success, and that includes not being subjected to lead paint. That's why earlier this year I introduced my Lead Safe Housing for Kids Act, legislation that would better protect families and children living in federally assisted housing from the devastating consequences of lead poisoning. My bill would require HUD to adopt primary prevention measures because of the cost of enactment is far too great to our children and our communities. And at a time when there is little bipartisanship in supply here in Congress, I was pleased to introduce legislation just a few short days ago with the Republican senator from South Carolina, Tim Scott, aimed at preventing carbon monoxide poisoning. No family should have to live in fear and live in a place in which an invisible silent killer is possible in their lives instead of being in a safer home. Since 2003, 13 public housing residents have died from carbon monoxide poisoning. 4 of those deaths have been this year alone. These are entirely preventable deaths. Our legislation will protect more families from the fate that some have suffered by requiring carbon monoxide alarms in all federal assisted housing. All Americans deserve protection from carbon monoxide no matter where they live or how much money they make. And finally, while we're working to do better on safety, we must do better on affordability. No mother like Susan should ever have to face the realities of having that type of homelessness for that period of time, having their children suggest to them that they don't want to live. That is not the America I know. It is not the America we need to have, and that's why we can fight. unacceptable. The notion that the Trump administration would propose some of the cruelest cuts at a time we're struggling to meet the needs of our communities is beyond infuriating. It's no exaggeration. It's no exaggeration to say that President Trump's budget would create a new homelessness crisis in this country, with housing assistance slashed by nearly $9 billion. The administration's budget would eliminate 140,000 housing vouchers when we need more, not less, and triple rents for the disabled, the elderly, and the most vulnerable among us. Well, I know I have some colleagues who are here from the House of Representatives. They're lucky to be in a majority. We will have a budget that doesn't allow any of that to happen because